Welcome to the Juice Radio Talk Show. 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 Reality TV's church reviews. Let's talk happy love and marriage lifestyle. Come and talk with us. Come and share with us. Come and laugh with us. Come on and pray with us.
Regina Cole is a special guest. You should be following your lead. Bless. Subscribe on YouTube. Listen on podcasts. We live on IG and Facebook. This episode is sponsored by TruthAndTriumph Ministries.
Good day, everyone. Happy Monday and welcome to Money Monday here on the Juice Radio and Talk Show. We are so excited to have another series as we continue in a new one. So we're just about to start a new series on today where we're talking about how you can enable yourself to be able to look forward, to manage those things that are coming up, what is shaping in our future, what's coming up on the horizon. And so we want to make sure that you are mastering financial agility. What are we saying, Pastor? We're saying we're going to be providing you with information, but we want you to be agile. We want you to be able to move with strategies for stability and for growth. And that means you have to be informed. And so we want to make sure that we are sharing with you information that can help you grow in every area of your life or your business. And so we are so excited as we go into this new series. We just want to do a quick recap on some of the economic things that are happening today. We're diving into some must-knows, right? Some of those things in trends for 2025 for business owners, ministry leaders, and entrepreneurs. We want to make sure that you are staying ahead. That's our game this year. We're not going to be on the defensive. We're going to be on the offensive. We're going to be moving ahead and making sure that we are ready as things change so that we have that necessary agility. Do you know you need to have different tool sets in your skill set when you're needing to be agile, when you need to be a quick mover? And so you're not thinking so much from your long-term goals. What are these short-term advancements that you need to be aware of so that you can maneuver, make new decisions that can help you pivot to move forward? And so we want to make sure that this is an episode for you. Encourage others to like and share on Facebook, on YouTube, going out to the Juice Radio and Talk Show. Make sure that you subscribe and you click that ring button because we want you to know when we're on live, okay? So today we just want to highlight a few of the economic items that are happening and shaping your financial future. So what's the real story? Right? We get a lot of fake news. You hear that all the time. But what's happening right now? The Federal Reserve has made critical moves on interest rates, and we need to talk about what that means for you and your cash flow, business loans, and personal finances. Inflation is still in play, so just want to make sure you know that. Prices are moving, so you should be pricing strategies. You should be giving attention to those. We've been talking about that the last couple of sessions. It is so critical that you are moving with it. Maybe if you're an investor like myself, you've seen where maybe your financial team is making some shifts and moves where you have money set aside. And so I've been seeing that too, because if they're watching your money, you need to be watching it too for your business. And so you want to make sure that you are also moving those levers to put you in the best position to be able to retain, have stability, and then have growth. And so you want to make sure that you are adjusting. Are you making adjustments? Are you looking at your pricing? Are you looking at opportunities where you can either shift and move up or move down based on the dynamics of your merchandise that you're having to purchase and procure? You want to make sure. We also have some policy shifts under the new administration. We're having some tax breaks, regulations, and incentives that you should be aware of. So again, we talked about it. So here at the Federal Reserve economic data. So some of the things that it's talking about, small business and ministry trends, some of the funding opportunities and grants are emerging for small business, nonprofits, and ministries. You want to make sure that you are tapping into that. So small businesses are being acquired or merged. So some of them are coming together. So maybe you want to consider, should I be merging or taking the opportunity to come in with others and make sure that we are advancing together? Is there a solution, a partnership that could be a win-win for both of us? These are some of the things that you want to think about. More small businesses are doing that, right? Versus starting from scratch. How can we partner with others to make it a win-win for what we both provide? Maybe we can extend it and then make it a more benefit to a potential client. For churches and faith-based businesses, the IRS is tightening on liens on tax-exempt organizations. So what do you need to be prepared for? What do you need to have your line of sight? So again, we've talked about we're in the tax season. We are in the tax season now. Right. Some businesses, if you have a partnership, your taxes were due on the 15th. Some corporations was due on the 15th. But if you're working in different dynamics, work with your tax professional so that they can help you, strengthen you in that space, because April 15th is right around the corner. We know that some of those who are impacted by most recent emergencies, right? Natural disasters that occurred. Those, I believe, in California have been given additional extensions due to the fire. We know most recently we had tornadoes and other things that are happening in spaces. And so maybe there perhaps will be some additional emergency stances on your taxes. But we want to make sure that you're not waiting to the last minute. We don't want to do that. So we want to make sure that we are moving forward, even in our finances and even in our preparation. Again, we want to be proactive. We want to be on the front end. We don't want to be on the back end trying to catch up. So even as we look at AI and automation, it's a financial game changer. It can be a disruptor. AI is revolutionizing how we track, how we manage, how we forecast our finances. And we want to make sure that you are using the right tools to automate for your budget, monitoring the trends, and to stay ahead. Again, using those AI-driven financial areas so that it can help you. You know what? It can even help you with monitoring for fraud. Yes, fraud is on the rise. And so you can even use AI technology to help you manage and protect your accounts, your businesses, and your organizations. So we don't want to sit in a shell. We don't want to put our heads in the sand. We've got to rise to the occasion. This is our year to go from waiting to winning. This is our year to thrive. This is our year to soar. And so we want to encourage you to listen and to look and to operate from that lane and then to apply it. Information is only powerful if you use it. And so we want to make sure that you're taking the information that we're sharing and that you are putting it into action. We know that this is going to be a great win for you in this year. And so we're just getting ourselves ready for our next. So we want to remind you some of those tools that you can use in AI. I know people are uncomfortable. Some people are just moving into that. But ChatGPT, fintech solutions, automatic bookkeeping can really help you scale your business without hiring more people. And so where we're looking at too in this year, cost cutting and efficiencies and effectiveness, one of the ways we can do that is by evolving in our technology. So we want to make sure that we do that. Some of the key things we're going to cover today is talking about economic indicators and making data-driven moves. So one of them, again, is understanding the economic indicators. What should we be looking at? The GDP, gross domestic product. So right here, the GDP means we're growing more economic. So it helps us in growing our economic activity. Are people spending? That's what it's giving us an indicator. Are people spending, and how are we heading toward a slowdown? So you really want to look at that, especially if you're in the position where you're marketing a product. We talked about previously getting a product that is a necessity, not a something that we do as a luxury. We want to make sure that whether we are providing, it becomes a necessity, especially to our clients and to our business sponsors who we're helping in the marketplace. We want to make sure that they recognize our tools or our product or our services as consultants or whatever business service we provide. We want to have them look at us as a necessity. I've got to have that person on my team. I've got to be connected to them because of the value that they're bringing. So the GDP helps us to understand whether people are still spending or if there's a slowdown in the spend. Inflation, again, the cost of goods, we know they are rising. And so we have to understand how that influences and impacts your pricing and your pricing strategy, the demand for your product or services, and then also the related expenses that it have for you to your supplier and partners who are also working with you in the whole end-to-end service of your product. And then, of course, unemployment trends. These, again, some of the key indicators that you always want to be watching and monitoring. Unemployment, a strong job market means there's more spending power. And so when we have a low unemployment, that means we have more people working, more people have residual funding that they have the ability to spend. And so we want to look for that because if there's a high unemployment, we'll start to have maybe layoffs, right? that is a result of layoffs. It is a result of changes in the marketplace. And these could give us those key indicators that things are in the downturn, okay? And so some of the ways you can track them, of course, is through the Bureau of Economic Analysis, getting information, the Federal Reserve economic data, an Investopedia economic indicator. So you can pull all these pieces together to help you glean information to help you move forward. And so it's really important that we're watching the data. And if you're like me, sometimes you don't have the opportunity to synthesize through all the data from all the various points. Go to a summary. You can do a search through your own Google application, your GB chat, other ways that we use AI to get information and be very poignant. Make sure that you're being specific about what you're looking for so you can make sure you're getting the right information, especially if you're in a specialized industry or field. You want to make sure that you're not generalizing when you get information, because generally it might be doing well, but it might not be doing well in your industry and field. So you always want to make sure, while we're expressing and giving information more from a general perspective, you have got to dig in deep on your industry, on your field, because you want to make sure that you are looking for data points relative to how you will be influenced, right? One of the other things you want to do is really look at forecasting financial trends. The best business owners don't just react, they predict. Oh, yes. You have the spirit of discernment. You get information, right? And then you learn how to read this type of information and reporting to adjust your strategies before financial turbulence hits. That's the whole thing about being proactive. That's what we want to talk about and encourage throughout all of our series, is that we want to be proactive. We want to make sure that we're moving ahead. When you are a good business owner, when you have good insight, when you have good information and you use it to your best advantage, you don't just react. You're able to predict what might happen and then enable yourself to move. We're talking about agility today, to be agile so that when you have that information, then you can pivot and you can move in such a way that while it might be happening, while financial turbulence is coming, it is not as impactful to you as it could be if you had been caught unaware. That's what we're saying. So we want to have you start setting up some quarterly financial reviews and align with the economic shift. Don't wait to the end of the year. Don't wait to semi-annually. Start doing it quarterly. Some people even look at it monthly, and others, based on their business dynamics, they do it weekly. So you want to make sure that you're giving the appropriate attention to something that matters very much to you, right? So making these strategic decisions based on economic shifts. So you're looking at them, and then you evaluate, what should I do based on the information that's been made available? Should I raise prices now before inflation spikes again? Is this the time to secure a loan? Is this the time to look for a line of credit before interest rate starts to climb? Should I be proactive and take advantage of where it's sitting at today? These are the kind of things that you are looking at. Should you invest, whether it's your business or your ministry? Should I invest in technology to cut some of my long-term costs? And you can get more information. I want to share with you. You can get a lot more information from the SBA Business Trends. Very helpful in sharing information. Very helpful in giving us the details that we need to lock in on, to hone in on, to make sure that we understand what's happening. Want to make sure, again, from resource funding, that you're looking for funding opportunities, right? So that you make sure that you're making the right decision in that space, that you're also looking at your technology. Where can I be more efficient and more effective without leveraging more energy? Especially if you are a one-man or one-woman type business, you want to make sure that you are leveraging some of that information that is available to you through other resources, which is your technology. How can I work smarter, not harder, right? And we want to make sure that we apply that to what we're doing in all our spaces. And lastly, we want to talk about, again, some of the things that you want to do as actions, because we don't want to just be hearers of the information. We want to actually take it in and then do something with it. We want to make sure that we're growing from the information we receive so that we're better tomorrow than we were today. We want to take it and level set on what we're doing. So set up I'm trying to tell you how I do things in ways that help me work better, because I'm multi-stream. multiple vocations, as so many of you are. And so you've got to realize, how do I make things easier for me so that I work smarter, not harder? Some of the things you can do is set up alerts, Google alerts for key economic terms and changes. So for interest rates, you can set up a alert to find out if interest rates are moving. Small business grants, get aligned to some of the organizations who do business grants and give awareness of them. And then you set these kind of alerts so that you're not getting the masses of email. I know you're like me. You get a lot of email. You get a lot of texts. You're probably like me. You're in a lot of WhatsApp groups. And so you get a lot of information and you just don't have the time. Not that we don't want to. We just don't have the time to synthesize through everything. I don't have time to read every single thing. And so there's certain things that I know are very important. There are ones that get my attention. And so when you're trying to get more information, you need to set up these key alerts so that the important information to you that can dynamically shift how you are operating, which is the interest rates, which is small business grants and loans, inflation reports, spending reports, things. If your business relies on even the weather, some businesses are strategically impacted and influenced by the weather and things that are happening in nature. You may want to put alerts for that. So again, you want to be very specific to your area of industry in your field so that you can get what you need and you can dissect it very quickly, because you're getting the summary, you're getting the cliff notes, you're getting the points that really makes you more efficient and effective in what you're trying to do. Next, you want to talk about, if you're doing your review, your budget. Even if you're in ministry or business, make sure that you are checking it. Make sure that you are adjusting it based on the information that you're receiving every week through those alerts. Don't get the alerts and do nothing. Can I encourage you today? Don't get the information and don't do nothing. Even if and I know some of you have sat down and had information shared with you. Sometimes you might have gleaned from a champion or from a mentor, and they've given you some information. You may not be able to do all of it. But I just want to encourage you this year, write down your checklist and then check them off one by one. That is what we call iterative progress. You want to progress forward. You want to move forward in what you've been given to do. And you can't do that by staying the same. Growth does not happen in comfort. And so you've got to be willing to do something different. And again, you don't want to overwhelm yourself. You don't want to try and boil the whole ocean. You don't want to try and do everything. You just want to try and take it bite by bite, a little bit by little bit, so that you make progress. And that's how you ultimately get to your expected end. And so as you push forward in that manner, as you watch and you get the information, then you leverage it. And you can even use AI to help you do that. You can use some of the AI tools. We talked about ChatGPT. You can use other things that can help you automate and optimize your finances, as well as the information that's coming to you. You can set it up so that it can synthesize through it. It can help you make the right decisions. It can give you an opportunity to move forward in lanes that you had not pursued yourself initially. But because you've gained new information, you have a new context, you have another throughput by which you can evaluate and make an informed decision, and it can help you to move forward and advance. And so what we want to talk about today, even as we're coming to the closure of today's session, we want to remind you that money is moving fast. So if you're not paying attention, you could miss a great opportunity and be left behind. And so that's what we're saying. Position yourself to win by staying informed and by staying agile, meaning I'm okay to change. I'm okay to shift and making the right moves at the right time. Timing is imperative. And so it's important that we're doing things in the right timing so that we can take the most advantage of it. We want to make sure that as we move with it, that we're making the most of our time, our personal time. You don't want to invest your personal time in something that's not giving you a payback. And that's another thing. As a leader, as an entrepreneur, as an innovator, we've got to assess, where is my time spent most valuable? Because we can do a lot of things, but we've got to make sure that we're operating on the right things. We want to make sure that we're mastering our financial agility so that we are able to move for stability and growth. And so what we want to do is keep the conversation going, not just our time spent on Money Monday, but I'm encouraging you. to go and pursue information for your particular field and industry. Go and connect. Go forward and pursue information. Go forward and pursue connections. Go forward and pursue advancement. Go forward and pursue opportunities that you haven't thought of, but because you're in the company of others, you gain the strength of a combined intelligence. You gain the strength of combined intelligence by operating with others who perhaps know more than you in some areas. And guess what? You know more than they do in others. Don't you know our shared experience makes us stronger? And so whatever you give focus to, you give it strength. And so if you give focus to the business and the money aspects of it, it will profit you. There are social skills that are also connected to it that you'll glean from making the new connections. There's soft skills that you'll gain, how to operate with others, how to glean knowledge from others, how to work with others in tandem for a collaborative win. And so these are all the things that you will glean and gain as we continue in this series on mastering financial agility, meaning I'm not stuck in the way I've always done it. I recognize that there's always another way. I'm working myself toward the best way. I always know that there's another way, but we are tracking ourselves toward the best way. How can I do this in the best way so that I gain efficiency, I gain growth, and I gain stability? And so we want to make sure that you are making the right moves at the right time. So we want to keep the conversation going. Again, we're in this new series, Mastering Financial Agility, Strategies for Stability and Growth. We want to encourage you that even as we operate in faith, we have to do something. We have to move in it. We have to move with it. And in many aspects, if you're the owner, you have to push it forward. It is depending on you, right? And so we want to ask that you continue to drop any questions you might have, any thoughts. Let's tackle them together on the next Money Monday. Until next time, we wanted to appreciate you today. Thank you for joining us for Money Monday here on the Juice Radio and Talk Show. Want to remind you to please go onto our YouTube, the Juice Radio and Talk Show. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click that button so that you can hear the ring button so that you can receive the notification when we are going live. We want to encourage you to continue to join us and continue to use the information that we are imparting toward you. Make sure you, again, make connections based on your particular industry, your particular field. Make sure you go deep into it because, again, the deeper the roots are, the stronger the tree. We want to build stability that lasts. And so we want to encourage you to continue to join us each Monday at 12 noon for our lunchtime learning here on Money Monday on the Juice Radio and Talk Show. I'm Executive Pastor Tawana Grant. Peace and blessings to you on today. Be blessed.